What's your color? I wanna know. What's your color? I wanna know. What's your color?
The Lab Productions. We're talking the science. You're tuned in with Zaki Bhika.
I could be red, or I could be yellow, I could be blue, or I could be purple.
You tuned in to the Zaki Bhika show, and as usual, we're empowering and inspiring our community. We want to hear your stories, so please get in touch with us via Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. BK, drop it down.
So, we're going back to our roots with our Heritage Day special. We're celebrating the cultural wealth of our nation. In short, a nation that belongs to its people.
With us in studio today is one of the pioneers of Laudium, Haroon Noor Mahomed, that wants to share his journey. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah so much for being with us, Uncle Haroon.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for inviting me.
So, Uncle Haroon, tell us from the beginning where it all started, when your parents came from India right into South Africa.
My parents probably, or my grandfather migrated, I think in the 1920s or so, around that side, I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Obviously, it was a joint family. So they must have come in with 3 or 4 brothers and one stayed in India. I'm talking of my grandfather.
Grandfather, okay.
They came in as traders.
Mm-hmm.
So they were based in Pretoria and some others might have been based anywhere. These are the early pioneers that came into South Africa, okay, from a trading point.
Okay.
Hawkers or whatever it might be.
Right.
My family was known as the Enemy Ibrahim family.
Okay.
When I was born, I think we were already well-to-do.
Okay, so from your grandparents, then your parents, so they all were based in
I'm a child of an immigrant.
Okay.
So my father, I always remind my son, which we normally don't do often, which we should be doing, but I'm a child of an immigrant.
Okay. Loud and proud.
And I think I forgot, a lot of people forget to tell the new generation that they're children of immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
It was a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up in Prinsloo Street, Pretoria,
mm-hmm,
where a lot of traders existed.
Okay.
In fact, most of the wholesalers and retail of the Indian community were based in Prinsloo Street.
All right.
So I was born in 1948.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a journey with you. So I remember going to the Aga Khan nursery school.
Okay. So how many siblings were
we were 10 siblings.
Wow. Okay.
You're meaning my father's children?
Yes.
Yeah, my father had his uncles and other family thing, but from my father's side we were 10 siblings.
Okay. So you all were born in Prinsloo Street, right?
No. 3 of my siblings were born in India.
Okay.
The 3 eldest,
okay,
my sister and the 2 who are late were born in India.
Okay.
The balance all born in South Africa.
Okay.
What more can I? So we begin the journey where we used to bring where I was staying. Prinsloo Street is where I was born, on the corner of Prinsloo Street and Struben Street. And it begins from there. I went to the nursery school in the Aga Khan. I think the only thing I learned there was how to sleep.
With all due respect.
And then if you want...
So this is now your early childhood.
I can't even remember, but what I can remember.
Okay, the early childhood days in Prinsloo Street.
Then of course, we were fortunate. I never sat in a bus. 98% of Princelow Street children went by bus.
Okay.
We were well to do, so we had a driver to take us to school. And then this grade 1 and sort started, our teachers were white.
Okay, so were there schools in Princelow Street or were you going to?
Schools were Marabastad.
So
Same way the present school is, there was
Yes.
a junior school, high school and a girls' school.
Okay.
We would we were given by that government at that time once a week pickled fish, sometimes milk, sometimes cheese.
Okay.
Very tasty. African teachers, mainly female too.
Okay.
And I think up to standard 3, or if my memory can recall, then the Indian teachers started coming in.
Okay.
Till standard 5, I know there was, because from standard 5, I can remember going sometimes to the temple hall was used also as a invocation, as a school.
Okay.
And so was Rabia Dada Hall.
Okay.
As the population expanded, people,
Okay, so the halls became schools.
I remember going to the temple hall to learn and also to Rabia Dada for one class. And I also remember at that time, probably standard 4, standard 5, it was Indian teachers flowing in, like teacher Sirapat, and there was probably overflow, and I think the education was not bad.
Okay, so that's my my next question. Schooling for the Indians during the apartheid era.
I think we got a slight more advantage than the other non-whites.
Okay, how so?
Yeah, I think so. Our schooling was not bad. People did matric afterwards, so it must have been to a certain good standard. Comparatively, a lot of people got educated in apartheid.
Okay.
Some of them went abroad. I went abroad in 1963 to a private school in Pakistan, but the education was okay, yes. So otherwise they wouldn't have accepted me.
Okay.
So it wasn't bad. See, it was apartheid, but it wasn't. I think the Indian had a leverage compared to the other people of color.
Okay. So right now, where we're talking schooling during the apartheid era in Marabastad was only for Indians. So you were saying, Uncle Haroon, were there separate schools for?
Yes, boys and girls in separate.
Okay. You
All in
mentioned.
the same area. Some were more down near, but all in Marabastad.
Okay, so you said something that people might take offense to, that the education was okay.
Yeah, it was not bad.
Okay, can you elaborate on that, Uncle Haroon?
From my personal experience, when I went into a private school, which is one of the finest in Karachi, they did an IQ before they admit you. They needed to know your intelligence, not your money.
Okay.
So I passed. It was called Karachi Grammar School. And the education I went into from standard 7 on with the O level there.
Okay.
So it was okay. Our education was not bad here because, as you see, that generation that came out after matric was moving to Pakistan, India, and Dublin.
Okay, so that was going for tertiary education.
Yeah.
Okay, so why were they leaving South Africa to go and study?
First of all, they could not get admission. 1, it was easier. 2, because maybe fear of this country at that time, and it was also easier to get into India, Pakistan, and Dublin, and most of them became doctors. Also, there was religious schools. Also, a lot of people from South Africa came into Pakistan. So I think I'm talking of Pakistan because my background is a little more Pakistan. I'm educated in Pakistan. I think there must be between 500 to 600 graduates, doctors and religious graduates coming in from Pakistan, being such a poor country, educated us. I mean, gratitude to them.
Okay, so this was all during which years
I would
are
say
we talking about?
It starts from 1960, the movement.
Okay.
So
were people then, out of fear, were they relocating to Pakistan or just going for education?
No, it was just for education, and there must have been, I had a family link in Pakistan. The ANC was also sponsoring some people in India, and it was easy and cheaper to become doctors there. And Dublin was opening also up, you could get in.
Okay.
So, and most of the education that came out were medical doctors from all this three countries.
What was the setbacks for getting into a university here in South Africa?
It is with this time of apartheid. And so many could never get in. Are you with me? You got maybe, if you look even statistically, you'll see maybe 1-2 doctors that got qualified in a city like ours, from Wits or Natal University.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously apartheid was one thing that restricted higher education.
Okay.
So I think from the 60s till about the 75, there was a flow of young people that did their matrics in South Africa, and then the education must have been okay for them to get admitted there.
Abroad.
Yeah.
Okay. Uncle Haroon, regarding Islamic education and other forms of religious education in Marabastat at that time.
And I'm talking of Prinsloo Street. There was a huge madrasa, which there was no fees attached to it.
So this is now going back to Prinsloo Street,
you have
not
to go
in
back.
Marabastat. Okay.
I come from there. There's 2 sections. There's maybe there were Pretoria. Sorry, Pretoria was Marabastat, Prinsloo Street, Yestras, but the business hub was Prinsloo Street.
Okay, so schooling was in Marabastat, but Islamic education back into Prinsloo Street.
Yeah. No, I think they also had some private madrasa in Marabastat.
Okay.
But the main madrasa for Prinsloo Street was in our building.
All right, tell us about that.
We had teachers initially from Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
Ulama Maulana late Hazari.
Mm-hmm.
And then comes... it was in our building. And then I think in the early 60s, my father was a trustee of it. And there was never fees conscious. People never paid fees. There was also a great, people have forgotten element of poverty among our community, even in Prinsloo Street.
Really?
Absolutely. Everybody wasn't rich. There were maybe 8 families that were well-to-do.
Okay.
There were no fees. And also, I remember my father... going to Ladysmith, a family, Ahmad and Ibrahim, introduces my father to the late Maulana Abdul Razak.
Okay.
And before it could be said, it must be early 60s, that my father sends a car and Maulana settles here. And then the education changes a little, because it was Pakistan.
Okay.
Urdu speaking, Maulana Azari couldn't speak English. Mm-hmm. And Maulana Razak comes in and brings in his English Islamic, which was very beautiful also.
Okay.
I never got hiding because my father was on the board. So I had the privilege.
Okay.
And my family used to serve. All praise belongs to Allah, but Maulana Razak was a little spoiled, so he made sure that tea was served to him at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So they never had that before. So they good memories and good unity, and we cared for each other, we respected each other. I could not call a person, although I come from a well-to-do family, the culture was respect. The culture was that I could not call anybody by first name like they do these days.
Yes.
So I would get hiding if I called anybody by first, which was very important. We had, besides I don't know if I should mention, besides the Mehman, we had a few people of Cockney, and we had one Surti family. We were not so worried like it was a Rawat family.
Okay.
So we all lived together.
Okay.
In Prinsloo Street.
Right.
So we had a lot of families stretching from Prinsloo Street, where the Reserve Bank is coming downwards from Church Street, Vermeulen Street, Pro Street, Struben Street, Brown Street. In Brown Street, I think there was a Tamil family. And right till Boom Street.
Okay.
So the area was quite, I think there must have been a lot of families, very few homes, a lot of people stayed in flats.
Okay.
The Rawats were our neighbors, they were in our family, in our building. And we had an understanding those days that, you know what, of so much respect and so much love. Although there were people facing hard times too. There was a great level of poverty.
Okay.
This generation did see poverty. It's a lot of them. Hard time, but it was my advantage. I was born in a rich family, so I never see much of it, but my friends around did see it. So we had a full-time free madrasa, boys and girls together in the madrasa.
Okay.
And it was free, and it was good teaching. And, you know, Maulana Razak did innovate a lot of new things that created a lot of interest. So those are good memories to remember.
Uncle Haroon, we started this journey. We're going to continue it over a whole lot of episodes. In closing, what can you leave the young ones with about this journey?
The journey has begun now with you, but the young generation has got all the resources available to them. There is no restriction in terms of apartheid or anything. In fact, I think they must lead us now. We have not given them the position of leadership must go on to them. We must involve them in thinking groups, in think tanks, because we're going to lose the what shall I say, the communication with them if we do not associate with them. The young generation is a very dynamic generation. This young generation, I'm talking age group probably 18, 24, the more younger generation is too involved with the phones. So we need to work towards the younger generation. Otherwise, whatever we're speaking has lost its, we don't know their problems, we don't know what can we do to help. We need to create institutions of learning far greater than what we have. We have to create poor countries like India and Pakistan, and they have a huge institution, charity or non-charity. We need to give them environments of not high social status. I think our generation, this new generation, the VIP culture must die now.
Okay. There you have it. Wise words indeed. And please take care and stay safe. Jazakallah so much, Uncle Haroon.
Jazakallah.